Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our local financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello, welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC on a Wednesday on which nothing is happening. However, yesterday, Cody Gakpo scored and assisted in the Netherlands 3-0 win over Romania, and to his credit, had a good game. Looking more at home on the left. Certainly international football suits Cody. The slower pace, less intensity, the standard isn't great. It's more similar to the Eredivisie that he thrived in. But he is playing very, very well. And myself and Carl were discussing the potential of a European golden boot for Cody earlier on. So he's got a really good chance. He's the joint top scorer right now. And with Turkey next, and then if they get through potentially England or Switzerland, like he does have a chance to maybe get to 5, and potentially if they get to the final, he might even get to 6. I mean, he could score 2 against the Turks, could score against England, Switzerland. So, yeah, Cody might be coming back with a golden boot from the European Championships. Fingers crossed. Would be great for his confidence. We've got some interest, obviously, left then in the Euros, because the Netherlands are there. We've got 3 players in that squad. England are still there. We've got 2 players in that squad. And obviously we've got Ibru with the French and Diogo with the Portuguese. They'll face off against each other. Neither of them seem likely to start. Whether any of our lads start for England is up in the air. Trent could come in if Trippier's out, but it's Southgate, so he'll probably do something silly. We know Virgil will start. We know Cody will start. They're the only ones certain to start in the quarterfinals from a Liverpool point of view. In the Copa, Darwin, Luis, Alisson, and Alexis are all playing starring roles for their nations, and they're all through to the quarterfinals. And last night, Colombia and Brazil played out a 1-1 draw. Ali started for Brazil. Diaz started for the Colombians. So we're going to have lads coming back late for pre-season. They're going to have more involvement in these tournaments. I think there's a strong chance that we have multiple players reaching the final. That will be the case unless Switzerland or Turkey reach the final. We'll have at least 2 whose team gets to the final. We may have somebody on the other side, though I would say Spain and Germany, probably the 2 favourites to come out of the top half of the bracket. And then we may well have 2 who get to the final of the Copa. I think Argentina look a really safe bet to reach the final. And then one of Darwin, Diaz, and Ali will probably get there as well, because unless Panama pull off the biggest upset in history, one of Colombia, Brazil, or Uruguay will be in the final going against Alexis and Argentina, who I think would be strong favourites to beat Ecuador, then beat either Canada or Venezuela and get to that final. One tournament where there will be no Liverpool players, as things currently stand, and we keep our fingers crossed, is the Olympics. So yesterday, well, late last night, Japan announced their final squad for the Olympics, and there is no Wataru Endo in the squad. They've actually been really good about it, and they haven't picked any of the kind of big name European players that were potentially expected to be picked. It's a largely homegrown squad with 6 European-based players, none of whom are what you'd call star names. Kian Sato plays for Werder Bremen as reserves. Mito plays for Sparta Rotterdam, as does Saito. You've got Fujita and Yamamoto at Sint-Truiden, and you've got Kukubo at Benfica. They've actually picked a squad entirely of 23 and under. They didn't pick any overage players, so credit to them for that. We don't have all the rest of the squads yet. Not everybody has finalised. The final squads have to be in today, but we have nobody else involved. The only one who could have been was Mo, but we now know that Mo will not be in the Egypt squad, even though they haven't actually announced their final squad yet. I actually think this is going to be a good tournament as well. I really do. I think there's going to be some interesting players. There's some really good players in that Spanish squad. Some really good players in the French squad. I think Argentina will be interesting. No Brazil, which is a shame. No Italy, which is a shame. No Germany, which is a shame. Would have been nice to see the best young players from those countries getting an opportunity. If you're unaware, Group A will have France, Guinea, New Zealand, and the USA. The USA will be interesting because they do have a really strong crop of young players. And I wonder, now that they've been dumped out of the Copa America early, will there be one or two from the senior squad who go along with the Olympic team? Group B, Argentina, Iraq, Morocco, and Ukraine. Group C, Dominican Republic, Egypt, Spain, and Uzbekistan. And then Group D is Israel, Japan, Mali, and Paraguay. Mali always have some interesting young players as well. So the Olympics should be good this year. But obviously we have the Euros and the Copa still with just under 2 weeks left to run. Both now at the quarter-final stage. No games in either today, which it's a nice little break just to not have games. We'll have no games on Thursday either. Oh no, we will, because the Copa, they've got a game Thursday night, a game Friday night, and then 2 games on Saturday. So Argentina, Ecuador is Thursday night, but it's 2 a.m. Friday morning. So that's the next game we have from the international tournaments. Then you get Spain versus Germany, France versus Portugal, and Venezuela, Canada on Friday. And then on Saturday, it's England, Switzerland, Netherlands, Turkey, Colombia, Panama, and Uruguay versus Brazil. So Saturday will be a busy day of football. I think it's then Tuesday and Wednesday for the Copa semi-finals, which, if I was to predict them, I'd say Argentina against Venezuela and Colombia against Uruguay, which I think are 2 fun games. And then I think it's Wednesday, Thursday, am I right? Or or is it Tuesday, Wednesday? It's probably Tuesday, Wednesday for the Euros. And I think I have France against Germany and England against the Netherlands, which all shapes up well. And look, we might end up with a situation where Virgil's, captaining his nation into an international final. And wouldn't it be great if he was to win it? Like, would just shut up all of the bellends, the ex-Dutch players who've decided to just constantly take shots at him, even though the fault lies with their best buddy, Ronald Koeman, who they all just seem terrified to criticise. Not a whole lot else happening. We haven't had any new links to players. The Aid Nouri one is out there. I like that idea. The Calafiori one is out there. Now, Chelsea and Arsenal were both linked with him yesterday, but by spoofers more than anybody who you'd really put any faith into. Calafiori would be an ideal signing. Lenny Yoro, obviously that name continues to be bandied about. Real, obviously the favourites to get him, but as yet, no move from them to get him. There's the Gordon stuff, which seems to be mostly in Indy Kayla's head. Nico Williams has been mentioned. I wasn't overly keen because he's inconsistent, which is the case with all young players. The big issue was the money that he's on. Like, it's just an awful lot of money. 200 grand a week, apparently he'd want, maybe a bit more. It's a lot to give a 21-year-old. But by Christ, when you watch some of the performances he's put on, and then you go back and watch some of the really good performances for Bilbao, you could talk yourself into it very easily. Absolute dynamite. Lightning quick, two-footed. Doesn't score enough, but gets himself into great positions, creates for others. And he's 21. Like, you would have an easy enough time convincing yourself to go and get him. And that's kind of it. That's all that's really been mentioned for us thus far, which potentially means we'll sign none of those players, and we'll sign players that we haven't heard about Liverpool having interest in. Because Edwards does kind of like to work behind the scenes and not have things be too public. Likes to drive the prices down as much as he can. On This Is Anfield, they have 5 things we want to see from Liverpool this pre-season, with Salah firing and Gakpo in new role. So, new look Salah firing is the first, and obviously Mo has shaved his head, and there are rumours of a hair transplant. Last season, he was unbelievable until he went to AFCON. And then he got hurt, and then he wasn't particularly good when he came back. But he still put up his numbers. And he is going to be in great shape going into this season, because he's clearly been taking the summer break as just a training regime. And I think Arne Slot's system I think he'll find a way, because he's a very inventive attacking coach. I think he'll find a way to get Mo into positions where he can really be effective. And hopefully there'll be less of the hugging the touchline type of nonsense. Besetic finally back up to speed. I think we should temper Besetic a little bit. Largely because he was out for so long. It's going to take him a while to get back to the level he was at pre-injury. And the level he was at pre-injury wasn't good enough to be starting games for Liverpool, regardless of what Jurgen Klopp wanted to say. So, the lad has a bright future, but he needs to be treated with kid gloves. He needs to be brought along very slowly and very carefully. because there's clearly some muscular injuries there that are repetitive and that they didn't do the surgery route on them. They let them heal naturally. That sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So we don't want to overtax him. Gakpo in his favourite role. You know what's funny about this is that when we signed him and Jurgen played him as a 9, the same people who were on social media having meltdowns that I can't believe Klopp wasted him as a striker were pulling the plums of themselves about how we'd found the new Firmino. Couldn't wait to tell everybody that we'd found the new Firmino.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Like, Kobe just had a bad season. And yet, he played in midfield. He played like 4 games in midfield. He just didn't have a good season. The Premier League seemed a little bit too quick and too intense for him at times. And that's going to be the case left wing as well. And people saying, oh, he was brilliant there at the end of the season. No, he wasn't. He was better there. But he wasn't brilliant by any stretch. So again, let's not hype the lad up to be some sort of saviour, because he isn't an ideal fit as an Arnie slot winger. He just isn't. The role that might suit him best is probably as the 10, as a backup to Dominic. But he doesn't have the explosiveness and the ability to go on the outside that Arnie Slot looks for in his wingers. So let's not pretend that he's perfect for Slot. Yeah, he was great for PSV playing as a winger. He's doing really well for his national team playing as a winger. Those things are utterly irrelevant when it comes to the Premier League. It's a much tougher league. It's much quicker and it's much more intense. It's much more physical as well. So let's not overburden Cody. Let's allow him to come back in and find a role in the squad and go from there. Like, yeah, he was great for PSV. Luis Diaz, who the same people that want to crown Gakpo as the best left winger in the world, they want to write off Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz was putting up far better numbers at Porto the season we bought him, which is a much tougher league. Like, Diaz had 16 goals before we signed him and was absolutely rinsing teams in the Champions League, coming off the back of a brilliant performance at the Copa America. So why is it that Gakpo struggling so bad last year is down to poor management and Diaz struggling is down to Diaz, who wasn't used very well, doesn't suit playing with an overlapping fullback, didn't suit the 4-3-3. I mean, we signed players in Dominic, Diaz, Gakpo, Darwin, Alexis, all out of systems that were 4-2-3-1 or similar. In Dominic's case, a box midfield with split strikers at Leipzig. And we shoved them into 4-3-3 and played all of them in positions that weren't conducive to getting the best out of them. Alexis played a lot of the year as a 6, Dominic as a box-to-box cart horse, Diaz as an inside forward, Cody as an inside forward, a centre forward, or those 4 games in midfield. And Darwin, to be fair, was used in a position that's more similar to his old role But at the same time, would anyone say he was well managed at the start or the end of last season? Because I think you'd be lying to yourself if you did say that. Like, Jurgen didn't get the most out of those players. But I think everybody, when they look back, would admit that the football played in the last 2 seasons was not Jurgen Klopp football. That was Pep and Linda's football. Jurgen Klopp football that hasn't really been a thing at Liverpool since probably 2020. Like, even the year we almost won everything, that football was very different to what we've been doing. But Diaz was dynamite when we signed him in that 2020 season. Like, absolute dynamite. And started the next season really well and then got injured. And he has struggled since. But it's funny to me that there's like one rule for one player and one rule for the other, because certain people want us to sell Diaz and buy Anthony Gordon, of all people. So it's easy to slate Diaz and say, well, there's no hope with him. And then say, oh, well, Cody's going to be a star next year. Like, there's just no logical reasoning behind that. Cody's a good player. He might not be suited to the Premier League. The reason Jurgen didn't play him on the left of a front three is because he didn't have the explosiveness to play there. He doesn't beat players on the outside. He doesn't cross off his left foot. Cody wants to cut back inside every single time. Every time, Cody wants to cut back in and drive centrally. And that wasn't what Jurgen wanted to do. It's also not what Arne Slot has his wingers doing. Well, he has one winger that does that, and he has one winger that does something else. But Mo has to be the winger that does that. Mo can't be the fella holding the touchline and running up and down in the Minter role. That has to be the other side. So that's where Diaz is most suited. More youngsters step up. Going to be big opportunities for the youngsters because a lot of senior players will be back late. So you'd assume a lot of the youngsters will travel to America. Last summer, Gerald Kwanzaa, Bobby Clark, Ben Doak, James McConnell, Conor Bradley, and Lewis Kumas all featured regularly in the match day squads. Obviously, Kwanzaa and Bradley played regularly. Bobby Clark played a decent amount. Doak probably would have played a lot more if he hadn't got hurt. They all, other than Bradley, who was injured, I think, were involved in pre-season. And the players named here as ones that could be part of the pre-season group, Trainiani, who everybody raves about. Amara Nallo, again, someone that's highly thought of. Carter Pinnington, who, again, someone that's highly regarded. And then Kieran Morrison and Trent Kone-Doherty, who both look, from what I've seen, which is obviously limited amounts, both look very, very exciting. If you're picking one that could make the step forward, it's Trainiani. I mean, that kid does just look a cut above. Slot's new formation revealed. I'm not sure. We'll find out in the summer what formation he wants to play. I mean, I think he'll want to play 4-2-3-1, but he might try a 4-3-3. It'll just depend on who he has available. We'll see. We'll wait and see. I think we'll find out a bit more about patterns of play than we will about the actual shape, because he might just mix and match with the shape, depending on who the opposition is. What else do we have here? Oh, there's a piece about Salah and Endo not going to the Olympics. There's a piece about Cody. There's a piece about Bruce Grobbelaar taking a leak against the Anfield goalposts. Centre-back has ruled out move to Liverpool after talks with Arne Slot. So this is David Hanko, who said that he had a conversation with Slot and was told Liverpool won't be signing a centre-back. I think it was just that they didn't want to sign you, if I'm being honest. I think that's basically what the situation is, because you're a good player, you're not good enough to play for Liverpool. So, you know, you're going to get a move. He is a good player. He'll get a move somewhere and he'll do well, but it won't be to us. Not a whole lot new on This Is Anfield today, it must be said. On Anfield Watch, there is a piece about Luis Diaz, how the Luis Diaz to Barcelona thing might be dead after cut price alternative found. Apparently Barca are looking at Jamie Beno-Gittens. They've also been linked with Jadon Philogene of Hull. I have a tough time believing they sign either of those players. I think what they will do is they'll probably sign Nico Williams. Ultimately, I think that's what they'll do. Again, there's a piece about Hanko. There's a piece about Cody. Legends praise Liverpool's new Robin. With a picture of Cody Gakpo. This is a pivotal transfer window for Liverpool, but the Arne Slot era is off to a sluggish start. That's a piece by Sam Maguire. There's a piece about Kvicha, and well, it's about a few things, including a bit on Kvaratskhelia. There's a piece about Sadio. Liverpool, fresh twist in Liverpool's Anthony Gordon chase as Newcastle summer transfer plan revealed. Newcastle are reported to be confident they can keep Anthony Gordon. Yada yada. Oh, it's from Football Insider. It's trash. Former Liverpool sensation, now free agent after bitter Anfield exit. Bobby Duncan. I mean, that kid at 16, 17 looked like he was going to have a really good career. He's now 23 years of age. I mean, it's very unfortunate what's happened in his career. But him and the people advising him have really made a mess of his career. They really have made a mess of his career. I hope he finds a club this summer and can start to rebuild himself. Because it's a shame. You know, it's always a shame when you see talented young players that whatever happens, they get bad advice, they've got a bad agent, they just make bad decisions themselves, and their career kind of falls away. Dave O.C. Cup, what have you got for us? A piece about Cody. Former Liverpool target Kefren Turam, who we should have signed last year instead of Gravenberch, but didn't. He is going to Juventus. So that's a good move for him. Malcolm Frauendorf has said goodbye. New goalkeeper coach Fabian Otta will now be free to join us after the US were dumped out. Okay, what's this? There's a few pieces about Calafiori. Let's have a look. Fabrizio Romano says Mohamed Kudus' transfer outlook has now changed. So there's lots of spoofing going on about Mohamed Kudus and his release clause. So real reporters have said it's active next summer. Bettenberg then said it was active this summer, and now Romano has said, oh, it was active, but now it's not anymore, which is an awful lot of spoofing. It's most likely next summer. You definitely take Kudus. Like, you definitely take Mohamed Kudus at Liverpool. No question. That level of explosiveness, that versatility, he is an absolutely outrageous footballer. Now, he does need to get more consistent. He does need to produce a little bit more, but you take Mohamed Kudus. If it's a choice between him and Gordon, you take Kudus over Gordon any day of the week. On AnfieldIndex.com, then let's have a look and see what the latest is. There's me saying that there are better options than Gordon if we're replacing Luis Diaz, which is undeniably true. There's a piece about Anthony Gordon, Luis Diaz and Rafinha. I'm not sure why anybody thinks that. So there's rumours that Newcastle are in for Rafinha, which of course has led Liverpool fans to think, oh, that means they're selling us Gordon, which Rafinha plays right wing, Gordon plays left wing. They're different positions. They need a right winger because they're selling Almiron and they've just sold Minta. They're also past the point of needing to sell anybody for profit and sustainability. It's a new year now from July 1st. So now they can spend a boatload of money again. So they can just go and buy Rafinha to fill their big hole at right wing. It has nothing to do with Anthony Gordon. Nothing at all. Now, it might have something to do with Luis Diaz, because if they sell Rafinha, they might buy Diaz. But again, it's more likely that they'll buy Nico Williams. There's a piece about our number 6 dilemma, piece about René Nuri. And then podcast-wise, there is Dave Davis doing a solo transfer show. There's the Media Matters with Dave Davis and David Lynch. There is the daily pods that myself and Carl and Guy are doing for the Euros. So those are available on Anfield Index Pro or on EPL Index. If you're looking for something to listen to every day, obviously you've got this, just a two-footed pod, which you could go and listen to as well on EPL Index. And keep an eye out for a couple of Buzz podcasts coming this week. But we do have Mississippi Burning, which was released in the last couple of days. So get on that when you get a chance. And that's going to do me for today, folks. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.